Hi girls! This is Miss Gaska, and today I'm going over English 4 Semester 1 Week 2, Activity 1.10. So our learning targets for this activity are to analyze a literary passage for diction and imagery, and to convert a visual image into a written vignette using imagery and symbols. So, to preview, in this activity you will read and analyze a literary vignette to understand the author's use of images and symbols. Then you will use one of your own personal photographs depicting a specific memory as the basis for an original vignette. So, a vignette is a picture or visual or a brief descriptive literary piece. So to set a purpose for reading, as you read the vignette, write an exclamation mark next to words or phrases that create striking visual images. And, as always, circle unknown words and phrases and try to determine the meaning of those words by using context clues, word parts, or a dictionary. I also want to point out over here on the side we have a grammar and usage rule, polysyndeton. That's kind of a hard word to say. Polysyndeton is a stylistic device in which coordinating conjunctions, usually and, are used in rapid succession. The device not only creates rhythm in writing, but also conveys emotion. Notice how Sandra Cisneros uses polysyndeton in this passage. They grow up and they grow down and grab the earth between their hairy toes and bite the sky with violent teeth and never quit their anger. Underline the conjunctions she uses. Well, she uses and over and over and over. So what personal emotions does she portray in that description? So I'm going to read this entire thing with you and show you how to annotate it, and then we're going to answer the questions. So let's look at this. They are the only ones who understand me. I am the only one who understands them. 4 skinny trees with skinny necks and pointy elbows like mine. 4 who do not belong here but are here. 4 raggedy excuses planted by the city. From our room we can hear them, but Ninny just sleeps and doesn't appreciate these things. So I'm seeing images here with skinny necks and pointy elbows like mine. I'm seeing an image of both the trees, and I'm seeing an image of the girl. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I don't know if there's any words that you do or don't understand there. Alright. Their strength is secret. They send ferocious roots beneath the ground. They grow up and they grow down and grab the earth between their hairy toes and bite the sky with violent teeth and never quit their anger. This is how they keep. I think that's a pretty vivid image too. Let one forget his reason for being. They'd all droop like tulips in a glass, each with their arms around the other. Keep, 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 trees say when I sleep. They teach. And here we have droop like tulips in a glass. That's kind of a visual image. Each with their arms around each other, around the other. When I am too sad and too skinny to keep keeping, when I am a tiny thing against so many bricks, then it is I look at trees. For when there is nothing left to look at on this street, 4 who grew despite concrete, 4 who reach and do not forget to reach, 4 whose only reason is to be and be. So here with this line, 4 who grew despite concrete, kind of reminds me of Tupac's The Rose That Grew From Concrete, and it kind of makes me wonder if she wrote this before or after Tupac wrote that line, but I think it was before, because she wrote this in 1983. So it's kind of interesting that they both had that idea about the concrete. So now let's go to the questions. For number 1, it says, what connection does the narrator make between herself and the trees growing outside the window? So what does she have in common with those trees? What connections is she making? Then for number 2, it says, what is the narrator's use of the words ferocious, bite, violent, and anger in paragraph 2 suggest about the trees and the narrator's character? So what do you think she's trying to say there? Why do you think the author chose to use internal rhyme, reason, each, keep, trees, sleep, and teach in paragraph 3? What does it suggest about the narrator? So think about those words that she chose to rhyme with each other, and what do you think that says about the narrator as a person? For number 4, it says, what is the central idea of the final paragraph of the vignette? How does it build on the connection between the narrators and the 4 trees? So go to that paragraph and try to figure out what the central idea of that paragraph is, and then explain how that central idea builds on that connection that the narrator believes she has with these trees. For number 5, it says, what is your perception of the writer's meaning for the 4 skinny trees? Describe the connections among the title, the speaker's self-perception, and the imagery in this piece. So think about what you think the author means about the 4 skinny trees, and then describe those connections. How the author sees herself, what the title of the piece is, what images the piece portrays. Then you've been asked to find a personal photo that presents a specific memory. Using the elements of a photograph discussed in 1.6, write a brief description of the composition of the image. So you're basically going to write everything that you see in the image in like a quick note. And then you're going to use that to write a literary vignette exploring the memory represented by a photo of significance to you. Be sure to use imagery, diction, and details to evoke the memory, so to help your reader see the memory. Provide a dominant symbol to make a statement about your self-perception. So something that symbolizes the way you see yourself that you use throughout the thing that you write. And then use punctuation and polysyndeton for effect. That thing I explained earlier about the repeating conjunctions, like the and. And that's it for that activity. I will see you in the next activity, and until then, I hope that you are doing well, and thanks for watching. Take care.